Welcome to Let's Talk Books Unscripted. Welcome to Let's Talk Books, episode 22. This is unscripted, unedited, so what you see, what you hear, that's what you get. We are sharing a beer today.
A tall boy, as we like to call them, right?
Yes.
Do most people call them that? Is that what they're called universally?
Yeah.
Like taller, just like a can, like an individual taller can.
Sharing
It's a
beer
nice shareable
is cuter. Yes.
one. Yeah. But yeah, share what you're drinking or snacking on tonight.
Yeah, pretty fun episode. We're gonna update how we're doing on our reading. I'm gonna show a book I'm gonna be reading soon or on my radar, and we got a question to answer.
Yes, and then I will be talking about books I'm currently reading, and then I'm going to give a couple like romance rom-com recommendations, because I almost forgot about that before we decided to do our video tonight, that I had said in the last one that I would do that for this one, because I gave a couple thriller recommendations on the last video. If you're like in a slump when it comes to thrillers, I gave a couple recommendations there, so if you haven't watched our previous episode, definitely go back and do that. But then thought I would do ones from the romance category if you're more of a romance reader and you need some fresh suggestions, so I'll show a couple of those.
We're in our rocking chairs tonight.
Yep. I guess I don't know that we advertised about the one that I'm sitting in right now, but I did on Instagram. I did a post. We found this on the side of the road in our neighborhood recently, and we were driving home, and Corey caught it out of the corner of his eye. And so we actually had to like still go down our street and like come back around, and the kids were so confused because like, why aren't we going home? We drove past our driveway and he was like, I saw a rocking chair. So he like hops out and he just inspected it for like probably not even 10 seconds and was like, okay, yeah, we're bringing it home. So he like threw it literally over his shoulders.
Carry it 2 blocks.
I had to walk back home with it because it would not have fit in the back of our car.
It was worth it.
But yeah, it's really nice.
We have this one I got from my grandma after she passed away.
So
and
we
then
have sort of matching.
This one's a little bigger, but they're both bent wood rockers with the cane.
His mom and sisters were telling us to like sell it, and we're like, no. Why would we do that?
So you might see us on the rocking chairs for the episode.
Each have a rocking chair now, right?
This is the chair I usually read in, which seems kind of weird, but I like it. It's a good reading chair.
Yeah.
It keeps me upright, keeps me focused.
I know, I was going to say, I at first was like, am I going to like sitting in a rocker for reading? But yeah, I've kind of liked it too, because especially if I'm feeling a little sleepy, but I still want to get further in my book, it like almost forces me to stay awake more.
And this one's a little bigger, so it's,
it is a
little more comfortable too. But
yeah,
we love them, so we're in our chairs.
Anyway, we digress, but you should also share in the comments, now that I'm thinking about it, where is your favorite spot to read? Do you have a favorite spot at your house?
Or a favorite chair?
Or a chair specifically? Or are you more of a couch person or an in your bed reader? I do all of the above, but yeah, if you had to pick like a favorite spot, or if you just don't care, as long as you have a book in your hand, that's valid as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, where do we want to start, books-wise?
Let's update how we're doing on our reading list.
Okay, sounds good. I do have a couple others that I'm not showing, shocker, because I'm constantly reading a ton of books. I even have some on my phone that I'm reading. I think I've shared in the past that I would like to eventually get a Kindle, especially for ARCs. I was like, what word is that? For advanced reading copies that I'm not able to get physical copies of, which is of course my preferred method, but that doesn't always happen. So I'd really like to get one for being able to, read them a little better than just on my phone. That should be a topic too, by the way. We could save it for a different episode. But like your I don't think we've ever discussed that, like preferred methods of reading, or just had people comment if like they have a preference. Because I think everybody does. I'm sure.
Save it
but
for
we'll
next
have to
episode.
Save that. Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, anyway, a couple of the books that I am reading right now. I just started this one yesterday, the 7-Year Slip.
Oh, time, huh?
I know, I feel like I've maybe shown this before and had not started it. Maybe I haven't. I can't remember. We've done so many of these episodes now that I forget sometimes. But yeah, it was a funny story about this one. I put it like in my stories on Instagram asking people like, should I read? It was like a different book. It was this one. Which one should I do next? And people like all voted for this one. So I was like, okay, great. And then I realized I had a book from the library that I was like, oh, I probably should prioritize that one first. And I was like, and then I'll read the 7-Year Slip, I promise. And so I did come through on my promise, and I'm finally reading it. It's a delight so far. I know I'm gonna just like cruise right through this. I loved The Dead Romantics by her as well, so I definitely knew I would enjoy this one. But the one that I did read before this was called Head Over Heels. I think I might have shown it in a previous episode, and that one is really perfect to read during the Olympics because it's about a girl who doesn't make her dream to the Olympics. I won't say like what happens or anything, I don't want to spoil it, but that's revealed pretty early on in the book, so I don't really consider that a spoiler. But she goes on to be able to coach a gymnast. So it was just, it was a really fun read. So maybe you could pick that book up actually while the Olympics are still going on, if you're a fan of watching the Olympics. So that one was cute, Head Over Heels. I don't have it to show you because I returned it to the library. But yeah, reading this one, The 7-Year Slip, it's a delight. And then another Riley Sager one. I feel like I showed The House Across the Lake when I was reading that one. And I did like it. I wouldn't go as far as to say that I absolutely loved it. I had a lot of people tell me who have read pretty much all of his books, or most of them, that was maybe their least favorite one. So it's funny that was the first one by him that I chose to read. But yeah, it wasn't like my favorite, but I still did enjoy it enough to want to read more of his books. So I have this one from the library right now called The Only One Left. I was telling Corey earlier that I can already tell, and I'm like just shy of 60 pages in, that I'm going to like this one a lot more than the other one that I read. And they're just very different, which I feel like is the mark of a really good author too, to be in the same, it's the same genre. He obviously writes thrillers, but to write vastly different stories, like it's an totally different plot, obviously. And I think I'll just like the story of this one better. And it's like, look at how creepy that is. I know the glossy covers with the library, I'm trying to show it, but like that house up on top of the cliffs.
I like that cover.
So yeah, I'm excited to get further into this one. Yeah. What do you got?
So my current reads are the same as last episode. I was actually making really, really, really good progress, but then something happened. The Olympics.
We really like the Olympics here in our
house. They came on, and I just I can't stop watching. Yeah. I've still been reading, but just not as heavily because the Olympics are on. I'm loving the Olympics. But I'll update, just to update everyone and refresh. It's this one, Freeze Frame by Tyler Beauchamp. I'm about halfway through. This is my day reader. If I'm reading during the day, like after work, or like I read a chapter after work outside, or if I'm reading like in the morning, this is what I pick up. Because it's kind of a cool YA, good story about a teenage boy and his kind of group of friends as they're making a movie. And Rents to Be. This one I haven't been reading as much. I do like it though, but it's not the one I'm gravitating towards at night. That is this one here, You Know What You Did. The psychological thriller. And it's very psychological.
Gets in your head.
So I was making pretty good progress on this one, but like I said, the Olympics happened, so
it's okay. Let us know in the comments too if you watch the Olympics and what your favorite sport is.
But I did take a whole month off work.
We're hoping for some really good reading time.
I took the whole month of August off from work, which is kind of crazy. But I had so much vacation time to use. I took the whole month of August off, so I'm hoping we're going to read some books. We'll do a lot of other stuff too, but I think I'll be able to read more during the day, which is my preferred time to read.
Yeah. And knock on wood, but the kids have like a lot of days this summer been playing pretty nicely together. I really don't want to jinx it. But yeah, they've just really loved all being together, because obviously our older two are not in school. And they still have like the whole month of August off of school. So Corey will be off work and the kids are still off school. So they've just all three, it's been pretty cute to like see them play together and just be glad to be together. They obviously all have their moments, just like all children do. But they get into these moods where they just are really playing and they're very creative and they don't really need a lot of our attention. So we're kind of like, all right, can we like quietly sit here and read for a little bit? And
sneak a chapter.
And they do let us, from time to time. So
those are my current reads right now, the same as last, but.
And then I guess I'll touch on these two that I have right here. This one I'm kind of going a little, I wouldn't say it's out of the romance genre, but it's not an obvious romance. I'll say that, but I'm still going to recommend it. The sad part is I don't think you can get this particular copy right now through Aardvark because I believe they sold out of it a while ago. Sad. But you can obviously get a copy elsewhere. But this is called The Good Part by Sophie Cousins. When I read this book, you guys, I fell in love with it. I am surprised I haven't reread it, actually. It was on my list to reread this year, so I think I will still sneak it in. It won't be a summer read because I have so many right now. But I think I'll do this as like a good fall reread because I was telling you before we came on that I'm all about the thrillers and horror and stuff for fall.
Yep.
But I also need to sneak in some like cozy, happy reads,
cute stuff,
just to cleanse the palate a little. So I feel like I'll read this in the fall again because it was one of my very top reads last year. So I would pick it up if you have not yet. And she's a delightful author. I've read one other book by her and really enjoyed it. And then I have 2 more on my shelf that I still need to read by her. But the good part, like I said, it's not like a super obvious romance. There's romance in it. But I would almost go as far as to say that it's like contemporary fiction. It would maybe fall into more of that category. And it's got a little bit of like a magical realism element to it too. So kind of like a time travel type situation happening. So if you like any of that, I would read this because I feel like, if you're in kind of a slump, this book is just gonna give you all the warm fuzzies. At least it did for me. And then this one, Happy Medium. I can't remember if I talked about this one when I was reading it to you guys.
I think you did.
I think I did. This is another aardvark one. As far as I know, this one you can still get through them, and I do have my code renewed. I can't remember if I said that last time, but my code is renewed through the end of the year. So if you have yet to check them out, you can get your first book for $4. You wouldn't be able to get this one for $4, but you could add it on for only $9.99. So that is exciting. Their new books drop tomorrow, so you could pick one of those and then add this one. I would highly suggest this one. If a book can make me laugh out loud, you know it's a good book. It made me laugh out loud and it made me cry. So it did both those things. Again, it's got the magical realism element to it. My favorite character in this book was actually the ghost named Everett. I loved his like banter back and forth with the main female character in this. There's a goat farm involved. I mean, come on, goat yoga. They like make some goat milk soap or whatever, like to sell it. To sell at farmers markets. Cute. But then had a serious element to it as well. But I found the characters to be very likable. I mean, I will say for part of it they were not, because it is an enemies to lovers situation. And normally that's not my chosen trope. I'm a big friends to lovers fan. But this got me wanting to read more enemies to lovers books. So if that is your go-to trope, I would for sure recommend this one.
I'm going to share one book with you that I'm hoping to read soon. I think this will probably be my next thriller after I finish You Know What You Did. Or this is more of a mystery, but this is from Book of the Month, which, we love Aardvark Book Club, but we also dabble a little bit in Book of the Month.
Yeah.
And,
I keep leaving them and then coming back because they do have a lot of books that I want to read.
We don't love them as much, but they got some good titles. And this is one I picked out. I think this was in June. May?
Remember. June, maybe. Might have been a June book.
It's Middle Tide by Sarah Crouch.
It was an add-on. Yeah.
We added on. This is kind of a thinner book, 275 pages, but it looks really, really good. It's definitely more of a mystery. They call it an atmospheric debut.
So I don't know if it would necessarily fall into thriller, but
yeah,
more of a mystery.
It's more of a mystery, but there is obviously a death, and they're trying to figure out who did it, and there's some suspects. So this will be probably my next thriller-ish book. We'll call it a mystery after I finish You Know What You Did. So I'm looking forward to this one. If you've read it, let me know. I've heard good and bad things. You can't trust.
Like I've heard mostly good things.
Yeah, I think it looks terrific.
You're gonna hear negative and positive.
I mean, I haven't read a bad book yet, so I think I'm very.
He's probably an even more generous critic.
Well,
than
I just love.
I don't know.
I realize how hard it is to write a book.
Well, yeah.
And if someone can write a book, that's impressive, So I'm probably gonna give it some pretty good ratings. So.
Yeah.
But that's the next one. So.
And we're gonna answer.
Yeah, we have a question from
Nicole.
Nicole, our favorite, one of our favorite subscribers.
Awesome at asking us questions.
She asks good questions. If you have a question, please ask it for next episode because we love to answer them. This is a 2-part question, so let's start with the first one.
Okay.
Is there a movie based on a book that you like more than the book? That's crazy.
I did think about
Good question, though.
Because it was one that I wouldn't even say it was that recent. I mean, man, time is going by fast, but we watched it around Christmas time last year. I'm probably going to want to watch it again, actually. I believe it's on Netflix, and the movie is called Love at First Sight. So they shortened the title of the book. Let's see if I can get this right. The book is called The Probability of Love at First Sight.
Mm-hmm.
That might not even be...
It's longer than that.
It's longer than that. I knew I was going to mess it up. So you'll have to look it up. But even if you were to just type in... I got it. The Statistical Probability of Love at First Sight. You can see why they changed the title.
That's a long title.
Because, that's even hard to say once, let alone if you were to try to say that 5 times fast. But yeah, I thought the book was great. I mean, when I was still giving star ratings, I did give it a 4-star rating, which I think is very good. So I definitely enjoyed it. But then, when I made Corey watch the movie with me, and he had not read the book, but we watched it, and I loved it. Loved it.
Yeah, it was very good.
And I was sobbing during a ton of it. Not to say that it was overly sad. I think it was just emotional. And it doesn't take much for me to cry.
It was cute, yes.
But yeah, I would definitely check it out. If you need a movie recommendation as we head into the holiday season eventually, you can watch it anytime. But I do think it takes place in December.
Yeah.
And I thought it was kind of fun because I feel like the day that it does take place, I want to say the whole thing takes place in a day, and it's on my birthday. My birthday is December 21st. So that was probably another reason I liked it that much more.
Yeah.
But
it was a good movie.
But yeah, check it out and read the book. If you want to read, that's how I like to
read
do
the book
things.
first.
Read the book first. Watch the movie. I think you'll like both of them.
Yeah.
But that was one that came to mind. I did like it more than the book. And that does not happen very often for me.
Yeah. So the one that came to mind for me was... It was a book I read in high school, so it's been a while. So it's hard to say if I didn't like the book. I just didn't like reading as much in high school.
Well, because it was assigned reading.
Assigned.
You had to.
But I remember liking the book, but The Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Yeah.
That movie was so excellent. It was so good. And... I'll have to read the book.
We should read the book again.
We should read the book again.
I have it on my shelf,
we did
and I have not read it in a very long time.
But
I remember liking the book.
Such a good, just coming of age story. I'm sure a lot of people have read the book or watched the movie, but the movie I remember being so excellent.
I really liked the movie. But yeah, we should both reread the book.
I know. I'd be interesting because I'm sure the book is really good too. It was high school, and
high school was
my hair was a lot longer and less gray, so it was different.
High school was a long time ago for us.
All right, and then this is the second part of our question. Is there a book you think would make a great movie? She predicted Katie would say funny story. Which
it would make a great movie.
She's spot
on. I would love to see that be a movie, and I believe that at least a couple of Emily Henry's books are being made into movies or a show or something. I think it's movies. I would love to see all of her books become movies because, I want to live in all of her fictional worlds. But that was not the one that I had, just originally thought of. It's funny because I had one in my mind, and before we started, I had to look through my Goodreads because I was like, what was that? Because it was one that I was reading recently that I did keep thinking it would make a good movie. Was The Homewreckers by Mary Kay Andrews, I think is the author. It was a recent book club read for me, and while I didn't love it, I did like it. But the whole time I was thinking so it would almost fall into your first question too, Nicole, is I feel like I'd like that better as a movie instead of the book. I could just find myself getting really into it. Cause it's got a bunch of different elements. It had a mystery involved. It was they were redoing a home, like an old home,
kind of
so I was I could either see it be a TV series or a movie. And I kept thinking this would be really enjoyable to watch instead of read. So I don't know. That's just what I felt reading that one.
Yeah.
So that was the first one that came to mind for me. But I've read so many books that I'm sure I've thought a million times when reading a book that I could see it as a movie.
Yeah, that's true for me too. There is one I read recently though that while I was reading it, I almost saw it play out in my mind like it was a show, like a TV series, or it could be a TV series, maybe a movie. But it was one I finished recently. The Eyes Are the Best Part. It was.
That'd be
it would be
creepy movie. creepy book too.
It was just so well done with the characters and stuff that it could be a series. Like I saw it as a TV series, like even like a 10-episode series, because there's just so much to it with the character development and some of the backstories and the family dynamics.
I hope they do that. That'd be pretty cool.
But I could see it while I was reading the book, like as in my mind as it was a series.
Mm-hmm.
So if that ever happens, that'd be incredible. Well, there's been a lot. I mean, there's been a lot of the thrillers I read, or some of the
Oh yeah, tons of them could be turned into, and tons of them are being turned into that. I mean, I just feel like that's happening all over the place. I don't know if those of you who watch these, if you're fantasy or romantasy fans, I'm not super big into just plain old fantasy most of the time, but I do enjoy it. I have had some books recently that I did thoroughly enjoy, but I think I lean more towards if it's got the romance aspect as well. And so I loved Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, and I'm very excited for the next one. I think this is going to be a 4-book series for her, maybe at least 3. So I already pre-ordered, her 3rd book that comes out in January. You remember? And it'll be like I didn't actually pay for it when it shows up in January. Oh, I bought that book like months ago. But anyway, that one is going to be a series on Prime. I believe they're bringing that to Amazon, so I will 100% be watching that. If you're not big into like reading those, it might be a show you just like to watch too, though. So speaking of like watching something versus
not to
reading,
read it first.
Do read them, but I'm just saying, like, come on, dragons, like who? I mean, I don't know if you're gonna read them, but I could see you liking the show.
That's true.
I don't know. I think you should read Fourth Wing and see, but I've actually heard excellent things about the audio version of Fourth Wing too. Ooh. And I would love to give it a listen because I loved reading the physical copy, but yeah.
That's awesome.
Since we're still on the topic of,
movies, but there's been a lot, like
there's just been tons of
the book I just read, like TV Drowning would be a great movie.
That would be a great movie. Yeah.
I mean, but that's a great question.
Yeah, keep them coming. We like answers.
Yeah, so if you have a question, please ask us. If you made us this far in the episode, please, thank you. We do have a quick update. This is episode 22.
Yeah.
We have had requests that we do a live Let's Talk Books Unscripted.
Yeah.
It's pretty much.
I think that would be a great idea.
It's unscripted and everything, so we could do it live. So we decided we're going to do episode 25 is going to be live, and we'll update you as we get closer of when it'll be and what time. We're Central Standard Time.
Yep.
Maybe like a Sunday night or something.
Yeah,
we'll come on live.
With the date.
We'll have drinks together. We'll talk books, and we'll be able to kind of interact in a live format. It might be more of a longer, like hour episode.
Yeah. Depending
on who's interacting.
But we're gonna try it out and see how it goes.
Yeah. So let us know if that sounds like something you'd want to join in on, because that could be fun.
Yeah.
And if it goes well, we could maybe start doing that
more frequently.
Just more. It could almost just be our thing, you know.
Maybe we just
every Sunday night or something, we come on live and
talk about books.
We all talk books unscripted together.
Yeah.
We can cheers.
You can cheers us.
See what you're drinking.
Towards the screen.
Our dog can snore like normal.
Yeah.
We can just rock in our chairs
knock
and
over
just hang
plants.
out.
I know that one was one of the very first episodes where like a plant fell over, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think episode 2 a plant fell over.
Since the beginning.
I think it was episode 3 where I almost knocked over the camera.
Knocked over the entire thing, so.
And then there was one where I didn't have the light on our ring light on, so it was like dark.
I was like super dark, so.
It looks dark. Well, the light's not on.
There's been times where he's had to get up for various reasons, so it's unscripted.
It's all part of the fun.
We don't go back and change anything, so.
So yeah, we're going to turn this off, watch some Olympics.
Yeah.
Men's gymnastics.
Yeah, so we will see you